everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope you're all having a wonderful festive time at the moment. As Christmas is steadily approaching, I've decided to do a few Christmas themed projects and drawings in order to make the wait go a little bit quicker. So today I'm going to be painting glass ornaments to hang on the Christmas tree. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is cover my desk. And this is the bag they gave me in the shop when I bought my glass ornaments, and I've just cut it up and I'm using it to cover my desk because this is really messy. The paints are very liquidy and they splatter everywhere and they do not come off. The next thing I'm going to do is to prepare my ornament for painting. So I want to keep the tie on, but I want to take this off, so if I just rip the cardboard, the price tag comes off. And then I need to empty these little sequins out of it because I don't want those in. So if I just pull that out, and you got to be a little careful because this is it's springy, so it can snap and hurt you. So just watch that, and then I just tip all these out. Now I'm going to clean the surface of the glass. Now obviously the orb is clean already in terms of, you know, dirt and stuff, but it's still got fingerprints all over it, and your hands contain a lot of natural oils, so you want the surface to be as clean as possible and grease free. This has some rubbing alcohol on it, and this is the best thing that I've found to get grease off the surface that I'm painting with. And I keep the tissue around, and obviously I have to hold half the orb, but as I'm turning my hands around and painting, I can just keep going over the surface that I'm about to paint with some of this, just to make sure that there are no specks of grease on it. Okay, so now this is ready for painting. I'm just going to put this to one side for a moment, as long as it stays, and show you the paints I'm using. To start with, I have this Gutta and then these glass paints, and I have quite a few different colours of these. And I'm not sure what make they are. It says Deco Fin on them, but I got them in my art shop when they were all on clearance sale, so these were the last ones they had, and I just picked them up because they were all on special offer and I didn't have any glass paint, so I thought, okay, I'll get a few. And I don't even know if they make these anymore, so I'm just going to use these and see how they are. And then this Gutta goes with the paints, and it was on sale as well, and I picked up the last few they had left. And a Gutta it's an outlining paint, it's a relief paint as it says, and you'll see when I'm working with it, you can use these tubes a bit like you would a pen and draw on your outlines. Now I could paint the paint directly onto my orb, but I'm not going to, because I want to get blocks of pure colour, because you can, the paint's quite liquidy and it will run. Because this is a rounded surface, if it doesn't have anything to stop it, the paint will just all run and blend into each other. Now if you want that look, that's fine, but I don't. I want to have colour blocks, in other words. So I'm going to use the Gutta to draw a pattern on, and then let it dry, and then after the Gutta's dry I'm going to colour in my pattern using the paints. This thing. Now just degrease the top. Now I'm going to start with the Gutta, and I'll just do a little bit of this in real time so you can see how the Gutta works, and then I'll jump into time lapse in a moment. So now I'm just going to paint quite a freeform pattern on here today. Right. Now, as you can see, the Gutta is a relief outline, so it doesn't dry flat. It will flatten a tiny bit as it dries, but it does keep this raised effect. Now I actually really like this effect. If you don't, then you just use the paints on their own, but I'm using the Gutta, and it's quite hard to draw with it. And it's even harder on a circular surface. I'm used to using Gutta like this on silk, because when I paint silk scarves, this is the type of Gutta I use. But it's on a flat surface, so it's a lot easier. Anyway, this might be a little warped, that doesn't matter. This is just a bit of Christmas fun. Right, so you can see what I'm doing here. I am using the Gutta to draw my pattern out. And the Gutta, you just apply a little bit of pressure to the packet as you're drawing on, and you just draw with it as best you can. Okay, so the Gutta is all dry, as you can see, and I often find at this stage when working with Gutta that it can look really messy at this stage, because the Gutta lines are really prominent, and you have to have such a steady hand with Gutta, and I'm not terribly good with it, so mine's a bit rough in places, but when you find that once your colours go on, they sort of bring it all together, so it doesn't matter then anymore, it just looks gorgeous. Well, hopefully that's the idea anyway. So let's start painting. Now, what I'm going to do in order to make painting this easier, I'm just going to stick a pencil, this is an unsharpened pencil, it's got rubber on one end, through the centre here. And just so I'm only just holding it by the very bottom, it just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so now I'm going to start with some of this purple. And I have pre-mixed the paint. It's important to, if you're using these sorts of paints, or any paints for that matter, is to make sure that the pigment's thoroughly distributed inside. So to do what the bottle says, if the bottle says shake or something, or just get a paintbrush or a stick or toothpick, something, and give the bottle a good stir. Now, I have found a couple of things when working with these paints. The first one is a little goes a long way, and you can go a long way with these paints. You really only want to put the very thinnest coat on, and you don't have to worry about getting all your brush strokes all smoothed away, because I've found that the paint, you have to sort of experiment a bit and see what works, but I find that the paint it smooths itself out as it dries. So I don't know if you can see this, but right now the purple I've just put on, you can see all my brush strokes, but as I'm watching it, as the paint is, because it's very liquidy, it will run. As the paint it's all running and blending together, so I don't have to put a huge thick coat on in order to brush my brush strokes. They're all just blending into each other and making a smooth area of colour, which is what I want. And you also don't want to overload your areas. For instance, this violet is very light at the moment. Now I like it really light. I'm only going to do one layer, but if I wanted it darker, I'd just wait till that dried and then put another layer on top. You don't want to put too much on at one time, because if you do, you can overload the borders, and if you overload the borders, then the paint just goes over the top of the Gutta and runs into each other, and that's not the point of having the Gutta there in the first place. And as this is a rounded surface, the paint is automatically heading downwards, obviously because of gravity, and you want to make sure that you haven't got too much paint, so that the Gutta, the borders, can do their job and keep all the colours in their allotted spaces. Another nice thing about these paints is that they're really transparent. So because this is glass and this is going to go on the Christmas tree, it's going to be, in with tinsel and glittering lights and everything. You want it. I want it to sort of shimmer and shine as much as possible. So these paints let the light through, and it gives it a really lovely effect when it's all dry. Okay, so here is my Christmas tree ornament all done, and once it had dried, I just put the top back on, and it's now ready to hang on the tree. So I think these paints worked really well. They were very smelly. I mean, they smelled a lot. And I had to open all the windows in here to make sure it was properly ventilated, and I also had to use some white spirit to wash the brushes out. So this is definitely not sort of child-friendly paint. But that being said, I really like the colours and they went on really nicely, and the transparency is beautiful. I'm not sure if you can on camera, but you can see right through this, and the light is making all the colours sort of dance about a bit. In the shadow as well on the table. Even if you don't have these particular paints, the tips that I've given in this video would work well with whatever paints you have. It's just that I happen to have these. Okay, I also went ahead and did another one. In between waiting for the Gutta and the paints to dry, I had a little production line going there towards the end, so I did this one as well. And then, right at the very end, as I was waiting, as I said, for things to dry, I thought I'd have a try with some acrylics and try something different. So here you can see the big difference between the acrylics and the glass paints, and with the acrylics I just painted a little fun Elsa on. It's just a little bit of fun just to do something different that's not a pattern, and I sort of did her in my own style. I like both of them. The acrylics are obviously completely opaque, you can put layers and you can get quite a lot of different colours, but there's something rather more magical about painting glass with transparent paints. You just get that really nice transparent, not glistening, but you get a really nice effect at any rate. So these are my Christmas ornaments done and ready for my tree. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next video.